I haven't even had my second cup of coffee, and here we have the banned and restricted announcement for June 30, 2025. It's certainly a big one. It's not just 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 cards. There are a total of 6 cards banned right now. I honestly thought that it was just going to be Omniscience that was banned, and they would probably ignore everything else. Just to kind of keep it as is. They tend to be more reserved when it comes to this sort of thing. But it has been a while since they have dropped any or done any bans, and they have a longer period of time in order for them to initiate these sort of things. So this time I feel like it's a lot bigger of a package, and I think everyone will agree with it. I don't think anyone's going to be upset by this. The only downside, I would say, would be that there's not as many rares as you would expect. So the Cori-Steel Cutter and the Abuelo's Awakening are the only rares that ended up being banned. Just because a card is rare or mythic does not mean it's better, as evidence of cards like This Town Ain't Big Enough, Up the Beanstalk, Monstrous Rage. I mean, we've all seen the value that are provided by commons and uncommons, and this is absolutely going to shake up standard meta in a big way. There's a lot here to be absorbed. It's not just, hey, we no longer have to deal with these particular cards that are continuing to be problems in the meta. It also opens up a lot more opportunities for other decks, and we have to think about that moving forward. One consideration to be made is cards like Temporary Lockdown. That does rotate later this year, and that so far has been the only really good, reliable answer for keeping up with all of the value that cards like Cori-Steel Cutter, Heartfire Hero, etc. have been providing on the board. And with that being said, there's also a lack of trample. Monstrous Rage is really good in the mice deck, but it's also providing trample in an archetype, aka red aggro, that doesn't really traditionally have trample for good reason. Usually trample is reserved for green, and when you add it to red with so much value like this, it becomes a problem. But when you take it away and it normalizes, we don't have to, all the blocking shenanigans that we've had to deal with are no longer there, and a 12/12 creature coming at your face can be blocked by a 1/1 fish, for example. And that's how Magic has been for a long time, but trample in red just never made sense. And I think it's going to open up a lot of other opportunities like Raise the Past decks and things like that just can take advantage of wide boards. Cori-Steel Cutter is no longer going to be able to be pushing those wide boards. So all of these cards are now banned. This is real. I kind of really had to do a double take here on this list. I really only thought that Omniscience was going to be banned, but several others were saying because it's part of the Foundation's set, they're not going to ban it. And props to them. I tip my hat to them because turns out that's the case. Abuelo's Awakening is a part of that combo piece that makes Omniscience ridiculous. Abuelo's Awakening was a combo piece that enabled Omniscience to kind of thrive. I still don't think Omniscience makes sense in standard. It's a great card, love it. I just don't like the play style of playing solid, like watching the opponent play solitaire, basically, which sometimes did take a long time. But that being said, maybe we don't have to worry about it as much anymore, and Abuelo's was the right call. We're talking standard here. It's not like these cards are no longer relevant or anything. You're still going to see Cori-Steel Cutter in other formats like Modern or Legacy, Vintage, etc. After the Final Fantasy set hit, and there have been plenty of really fun decks to play that just couldn't really outperform these other decks, the Monstrous Rage and Cori-Steel Cutter mono red decks, as well as some of the value decks in Pixies with the Hopeless Nightmare, This Town Ain't Big Enough, etc. So much value for so little. This is evidence here. Every single one of these cards is 2 mana or less other than Abuelo's, and that's just kind of crazy. So looking at the effective date, it is today. The next announcement date will be later this year, so that's interesting to see. Like I said, they've changed the cadence on bans and restrictions, and I'm all about that. I don't think we should just quickly ban things. I think the more data we have, the more evidence we have that a particular card or archetype is a problem, the better. And in this case, after the previous Pro Tour, where the entire top 8 was the same of 2 decks that basically shared the same card. It was kind of clear, or very clear, that Wizards needed to make a move, and I'm glad that they did. I think everyone is, and I can't wait to see how the meta changes, because it has felt pretty restricted, pretty difficult to solve for, and I think now this opens up so many other deck archetypes that we'll be able to have fun with. Just a note, they do, Wizards does have a Twitch stream tomorrow, July 1st, to discuss these changes, and it'll be nice to hear what they say. You can also submit questions on their Discord. So just wanted to call that out. I think that's pretty cool. Now, just real quick, as to a couple of the reasons why they dive into that here on this article. And I'm not going to read this out loud, but I will post this link, of course, in the description. And you can kind of see what we were talking about with the Pro Tour stats and a lot of what was going on there. Izzet Prowess is definitely the biggest offender of Cori-Steel Cutter. But yeah, the rest of the article just goes into detail on some of the Pro Tour comparisons and with these decisions that Wizards has made. It's here. It's here. Ban day is here, and we have 6, 7 cards. I can't even count. We have more bans than I could have hoped for. It's a bittersweet realization that Wizards can make these sort of mistakes with balance, but that's the nature of bans. That's why we have that system, and it helps balance the game in a way that's healthy. I don't think anyone's tired of seeing Monstrous Rage or Cori-Steel Cutter or Omniscience. I mean, all 3 of those are just no-brainers for, especially Omniscience, anti-fun, just not fun to be able, or and then Monstrous Rage, not being able to react or have any answer for blocking is not fun. It's nice to see that Wizards can take something that they've created and kind of redact it a little bit. Now, it sucks for paper, but that's always been the case. If you have these cards in paper, there isn't really any solution. You don't get wild cards for that, right? You don't get your money back. And that's unfortunate. Fortunately, like I said, these are mostly commons and uncommons, so they probably were not too expensive. So there's that. I'm glad to see these bans hit and take place, and I think we can all agree with that. I'm excited about recording some more gameplay videos now that we have these cards to not have to worry about. And with that being said, I'm gonna go jump on Arena and start recording some more content, because that is what I love to do. If you guys enjoy this, please give a like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.